Bonjour.
Good one. I was
Hello,
trying to think of something
everyone,
last minute there.
and welcome to Office Hour Chef School. That's right. It is Culinary Arts this week. I couldn't
And
not
as you
wear
can
it.
see, some are more prepared than
I'm
others.
ready. I had it in my closet, and I thought, you know what? I think we need it for today's episode. Lots of familiar faces in chat. Nice to see you here. Nick's here, Mimi's here, and I saw our friend Flynn is here. Flynn is down in Australia. Nice to see you, Flynn. Thanks for being here. Hi. All right, Nick. It's a little bit of a weird day. Let's talk a little bit about what we've been doing this season. This is the last episode of the season, right?
I know, isn't I'm a little sad.
I'm a little sad.
I thought it'd never be sad for a back to school thing to be ended. You know what I mean? Because back to school is typically, oh, the dreaded time. But I hope we've changed that perception to everybody, right?
Yes, yes. Oh, here. Oh, yeah. So
Yeah.
Flynn says
Oh
chef's
yeah.
kiss. Here, I'll give you guys. You guys always like to screenshot. Here's a screenshot
There
for
you
you.
go.
There we go. Somebody screenshot it. All right. So, Nick, why are we talking about culinary arts? What has this season been? Kind of give
Yeah,
the rundown
right.
for if anyone's new. What is happening?
Yeah, we're stretching it each time, but I love this idea that everything we've been doing this complete semester has been all kind of based around classes you would take at school, right? So this is the culinary arts episode, and we are going to show you how our recipe for success and things that we've done in the past. Am I coming through glitchy? I can't tell.
It's like on and
Am I
off.
doing a?
Yeah, it's on and
Yeah,
off. We're
okay.
having a
Just want
week
to
here
double
at
check.
Office Hours, so just bear with it. If things are
Yeah.
weird, just welcome to the show. This is Office Hours.
Yeah, yeah. So this is again like this is how we're summing it up with showing you how all these different things that you would have learned in school really do relate to creativity and design and everything that we do.
Yep, a little bit of everything. So that's what the show has been this season. Today we're talking about culinary arts, which of course is the biggest stretch of all of our episodes, but it's going to be a good one. And I do want to tell you guys how you can get involved because this is a very involved show. Yes, it's already here. Look at that. That is premium content right there in Discord for y'all.
Look at that.
So
I
if
love it.
oh, Discord is gone. All right. So if you guys want to, it'd be great to join our Discord. We do a lot of stuff in this Discord. It is just bit.ly, or sorry, it is just discord.gg/ACC. We changed that link. That is the Discord, and we use it all the time, literally all the time. Nick, what kind of stuff do we do in the Discord? What happens in there?
We have hangouts. We do homework as well, but also too, we are able to get you guys audio on board with the show at certain times. But it's just great for complete community and feedback. That's the best part.
Yep, it's really fun. So we can do stuff like this. So you see over here, we have a classroom chat. If you do the Discord and get in there, you'll be in this classroom chat. And who knows, maybe we'll do something like this to where we'll drag you. Oh no, I can't. Why can't I drag? Oh, hold on. Let's do this. Maybe we'll hop into the other
no,
one.
what
I'll do this.
happened?
I'll be right back, Nick.
Okay.
Hey, Elizabeth.
Hello.
Welcome to the show. We just wanted to show how Discord works and how we can bring people live on air.
Come join the Discord.
Yes, awesome plug. All right, bye. So that's how the Discord works. If you join the Discord, we could bring you on the show. You could hang out and meet us. And we will be doing something very, very interactive next week. So be sure to join the Discord for next week. Nick, do we want to talk about next week a little bit, or do we want to hop in and then come back to next week at the end of the episode?
Maybe we hop back into it. We can give a little
Yes.
sneak peek.
Let's do that. All right. And I love
Yeah.
this. Wade says it's so easy. And Nick says that I look like the chef from Muppets. Absolutely. One of my favorite
That is
characters.
great.
Also, Muppets Haunted Mansion just, I think, came out last night. So that's what I'm doing for the rest of the day.
Oh, nice.
All right.
I think I'm missing your feed window again. Do you have that?
Oh, yes. All right. Let me
Sorry
get
about
that up
that.
for you. There he is.
There
Look at
we
that.
go.
There's Nick. All right, so
We're back.
let's go ahead and just hop in. Today, we are going to be sharing with you all of our favorite recipes, specifically our recipes for success. But before we jump in, we are talking about culinary arts. We do have to relate it somewhat to an
Yes.
actual thing before we get into the creativity side. So, Nick, tell us about your favorite recipe. Let's get culinary a little bit.
Oh, let's get culinary. I would say it's a newfound favorite, inspired by the movie of its same name. I'm wondering if anybody might know what dish I am talking about. We can make it a little bit of a quiz.
Cars?
It's roast. Yes, exactly.
Got it.
Nailed it. Yes, so it is inspired by one of my favorite Pixar movies, but more than anything, it was something I've never really tried until I was like, let me give that a shot. And I made some ratatouille. And it has
Ratatouille.
become, as a vegetarian, it has made a complete, it's my favorite thing because to me, not only is it like incredibly tasting, but it opens it up to anything you have around the house. You can make your own version of it with vegetables and stuff. It is out of this world. It is my favorite. Yeah.
Yes. Now I just want to make like a dessert ratatouille so bad that it's just like dessert stuff.
Ooh,
Right?
that's a cool idea in the same model. I
Nick,
think that would be good.
Nick, I think that we have an event coming up next month that maybe you could make a little dessert ratatouille for.
Oh, yes. All
Little
right, we'll
tease.
tell them about
All
that
right,
a little
so
bit later.
my
Yeah,
yeah,
how about you?
my favorite recipe is something called Buckeyes, and it's basically like peanut butter and powdered sugar, and then you dip it in chocolate and freeze it. And they're like little like peanut butter cups, but they're crunchy and just delicious. And my mom always makes them for
What?
Christmas, and so
How
Buckeyes
do I
are
not know
my. Oh,
this?
Nick, I will have my mom ship you some Buckeyes. Like she loves to do that, so I will get Buckeyes for you. All
Wow.
right, with
Okay.
that,
Nice.
those are our favorite recipes.
Wait,
Let us
chat,
know.
tell
Yeah,
us your favorites.
let us know what your favorite things are to make in chat, and we're gonna hop in and talk a little bit about our recipes for success. Today is all about helping you be successful, and that's really what the season, what the show is helping you be more successful. Today is a
Yes.
super broad overview of those things. So if you have advice as well, chat, go ahead and toss it in there. You can put it in Discord, you can put it in chat. If you want to come on and chat with us, put it in chat and just be like, I want to come on the show. We're super flexy today.
Yes.
So Nick, go ahead and kick it off, and yeah, let's hop into
My
our
first,
recipes for success.
yeah, my first recipe is a little thing called customer service soup. Think you'll get the idea of where we're going
Delicious.
here. And what is it made out of? Well, the recipe I've figured out for a lot of this is the biggest part of it is customization, personalization, how flexible you are with each client. I think if you're the same person or the same, if you make the same rules or um, whatever else you do in your collateral that keeps it very stiff and unpersonalized, then you risk not having some happy clients or a happy boss or a happy professor. I like this idea of being personalized to each one. That way I get some idea. They make it feel like they understand that I'm being flexible to them. The second ingredient is a half a cup of convenience. And again, if you strive for convenience with anybody you're working with, and I want to make it convenient for you to do this, to do that, to get me files back, I'm going to find a way to make it super easy for you to do that through Adobe Cloud, through
Yep.
Dropbox, or whatever it is.
Oh yeah, and I was
And then
gonna say
last but
like
not least, yeah,
sometimes that
go ahead.
convenience is not you. That's the client. Sometimes it's way
Yes.
less convenient for you, but it makes it
Mm-hmm.
way more convenient for the client. And that's something
Yeah.
that I've done that it's like cool. If you have a logo project, I'm gonna export PNGs at 3 different sizes of all 12 different
Yeah.
colors, and it's gonna take me forever, but it's gonna be way more convenient for you to have all those, so that you don't have to figure it out on your own. Sometimes it's less convenient for you,
Totally.
more convenient for them.
Yeah. I love that Elizabeth said this is definitely a stock photo of Nick.
Yes, I think that chat has agreed that it's just a stock photo of Nick.
There was the Sky Mall, is that what it's called,
Yes.
the magazine thing? There was an image of some guy selling some kind of like wireless headphones or something, and he's sitting there in this little sofa with it on, and my coworkers found it, and it was my doppelganger. It was so hilarious.
Yes.
One of these days I gotta find it. So there you go. I've never done stock photography, but I did. It would be this.
Oh no, well,
The
I won't lie.
last.
Having stock photos of Nick and Hawk would be so great. Yeah, that's gonna happen eventually.
Yes.
We're gonna give you guys
We're
like
gonna have
when
to
we
do
start
that.
promoting something like really big, we're just gonna give you assets to use stock photos of us. All right, Nick,
Oh,
go
and we'll just
ahead.
put them on Unsplash.
Right?
Yeah. Okay, last thing is a fourth cup of proactiveness. And this is just you being one step ahead of anything with someone you're dealing with. If they're expecting something of you, make sure you are one step ahead. Deliver early. You know, it's all those little rules that kind of play into that. I love the fact that I don't think you're expected to have the best customer service or the best service, let's say, as a designer or as a creative, because I think usually they've had a reputation of being hard to deal with. I love the idea of us changing that perspective and making people go, wow, I didn't think I can get such good service from someone that's a creative.
Absolutely. Yeah, customer service is
You
so
know?
important. It's something that I think we don't think about on the front end. We think about it when we're in a
Hmm.
project, but not necessarily like going into it. And so this is a recipe for
Yeah.
success. Fantastic recipe. Put it in your Rolodex. I will be
There you
uploading this.
go.
Actually, Nick, do you want to talk about something, literally anything, for like 10 seconds? And I'm going to drop this deck into Discord. Take it
Oh,
away,
yeah,
Nick.
please do. Again, too, we want to know what some recipes of your success have been. Anything you guys feel has been a good competitive advantage or something that has helped you get a job or a boss or an instructor told you you did such a great job at. Let us know. Throw it in chat, and we'd love to highlight that because this is about learning from each other.
Yep. Nice.
How
Thank you,
was
Nick.
that?
That was
There we
great. That was
go. Look at
perfect.
that timing.
I love letting you guys see
Ah,
behind the scenes that it's just like, hey, I need stall. Please stall for me. All right.
yes.
So we just put it in there. All right. Next one. Let's talk about some humble pie. Ooh, sugar, butter,
Mmm.
flour, and
Not
humbleness.
really. It's there's some new ingredients involved. I'm a big fan of this, and I think to me one of the driving forces of what I always try to have as a some kind of a attribute is this idea of just being humble with almost everything I can think of, and especially in the way you run your business or the way you work with people. But you don't get there without listening. I think listening to me is that thing that I had to be told, like, maybe stop and think a little bit before you react and before you say something, meaning listen a little bit better and a little bit more to someone telling you their problem, their hurdle, or whatever it is. So you can't be humble without stopping and listening. And I think that's a big point. The
Yep.
next thing is about a half a cup of gratitude. And I think we all can find ways to be grateful for something that's happening. Andrew and I were just talking prior to this about what a week it's been on both of our sides, and we were just saying too, like what a terrible problem to have. You know, it's like my God, like the fact of being busy or getting to do all these great things. You got to stop every once in a while and really be grateful for a lot of the things, right? Don't
Oh
you
yeah,
agree?
absolutely. And I think going back to the listening thing, it's so important to be humble in the listening process because you can hear something and
Mm.
think you have a solution, but you need to keep listening because your solution may not be relevant to like the actual situation, right? You hear one thing, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I can fix that. And they're like, oh, actually, that's one part of seven things that are all working together for the problem, and be like, oh man, I didn't even like think. Now I don't know what the answer is. And so listening to
Yeah.
like the entire story and getting all the information is really important, and humbling yourself to be like, okay, I don't have any answers until I have the whole story.
Yeah. Yeah. And this last ingredient, the fourth cup of asking for help.
Yes,
I
just
think
spring.
it's the humility of everything. It's the showing vulnerability. It's being humble that you don't know everything. And we were just talking about that in a meeting the other day at our school, and we were talking about this idea that like even when a professor or a boss or someone can ask for help from someone maybe a level or two below them, there's some value in that you don't have all the answers, and I think that shows a bit of that humble pie, and it's something memorable. I always remember it when someone would do that to me, and I'd be like, wow, they don't know the answer and they're asking me. That's pretty incredible. So to me, that's a big important step.
Absolutely, I agree. All right. Flexible frittata. When Nick sent over his slides, this is the one that I was like, I think this is going to be a fantastic episode. Nick, can you
I
tell
think we
us?
need to start that hashtag.
Yeah, can you talk to us about the flexible frittata? What does this mean?
Oh, this is one of my favorite recipes. Let me tell you, I came up with this a few years ago. It is basically one cup of different offerings. And that idea is that can you offer more things than just one? Or is your reputation or what you're known for more than one or one thing? So as that happens, next thing you know, you are more approachable because your offerings, what you put out there, are more flexible to a bigger audience. You also want to make sure you get about a half a cup of trust in there. I think as far as someone taking the risk on you to be flexible in the middle of a job, like you were saying earlier, like these timings are very different. So if you think about being in a job and you're right in the middle of a project, but the client or your boss trusts you enough to be flexible and try something different, you gain their trust by doing this as well. And then the last one is a fourth cup of honesty. I think
Yes.
too, just being honest with things and showing that, then that might allow someone for you to actually open the floodgates and be a little bit more flexible with you. Does that
Yep.
make sense?
Oh, there are so many
You know?
times when I'm behind on something or something's missing or whatever the case is. And just being honest about it and be like, hey, I'm way behind on this. Like things have been crazy. We're probably going to miss a deadline. Usually makes the client more flexible. And it's almost
Yeah.
that give and take. That's like, hey, I'm going to give you honesty and hopefully you give me something back. But then it's also me on the front end just being like, cool, I'm going to be super flexible with deliverables, with meeting times, whatever. Try to, hey, we're going to give you this on the front end so that when it comes to something that I need you to be flexible, you've already seen that I am flexible, and it becomes that two-way street, which I think is really important.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. It's
All right,
great.
let's get some
All
very
right.
expensive toast.
Yes.
What is the
You've all had
accountability
some avocado
toast here?
toast.
Right?
You've all had some avocado toast, especially if you live in California. You know that's a staple now. But let's change it to accountability toast. So my idea here is that the only way you get it is with one, a cup of a mission statement. And you can't be accountable for anything if you haven't put something out there to be accountable for. So having a great mission statement or having a great bio or an elevator pitch, we've talked about that a lot, or just a mission statement to what your next 5 years might be. That's your only way you can be accountable to something. And if you mix it up with about a half a cup of micro goals, boy, that's a good one. Don't go for those big leaps. The best way to do it is set mini goals and these things that are more attainable. I love the idea. I'm sure you're the same. Like when you have something written down and it's on your to-do list, I'll take the biggest marker and scrape it off and go like, I'm done. Like I want to know that tells me I finished something. I feel like some sense of accountability.
Yes.
Great.
This is
setting
my
those mini goals.
my stack of Post-its, and I just make a Post-it for everything, and you guys can't see, but they're up above, right underneath my camera on the screen. And anytime that I get one done, yes, exactly, I take it off and put it on my desk. And then like when I decide to clean my desk in my room, I feel so successful just like grabbing a handful of Post-it notes and throwing them away. Yes, that I think having those
I know.
little micro goals are big, and we're actually going to come back to that when we get to one of my recipes. But I think that's really important to have micro goals and not just like some big ethereal, like we'll get somewhere eventually.
Break it down. It's like it's kind of the best way to do it. And it kind of leads to the last one, which is a fourth cup of one task at a time. And I don't believe in multitasking. I'm learning that very slowly, but I don't think multitasking exists because you're doing one thing at a time. If you're doing two things at a time, that you've seen the chefs that do that, that might be considered multitasking, but you're spreading yourself too thin. I think when you do that, you're giving one the priority and one not the priority. I always try to be like focused on whatever you're doing at that time. So try to keep it focused. I think that's the best way to hit accountability. And then you win because I don't want to disappoint. I think that's the other thing. Like if you've disappointed someone that you're working with or that's relying on you, you lost all chance for accountability toast.
Yep, absolutely.
And that just doesn't taste good.
And as the chat was talking more about Post-its, and as you were talking, I got distracted thinking about an idea for a campaign for Post-its that basically is like I was thinking through, right? Okay, this is so off topic, but I was thinking through having my stack of Post-its, and then the idea that like this is probably like the rest of my year. Like the things that I'm going to do like exist in this pad. And I was like, that's an interesting like campaign concept, right? That it's like your entire year or like the memories that you're waiting to have. And it's like Post-its. That's all. I was just thinking through like, oh, this is probably like the rest of my year will go on these Post-its, and there will be like memories and projects that I don't know about that will go. And then when this is done,
I have a great idea.
Right?
Imagine if you build a Lucite little container for the stack of them, and on the side is you print those little things like the rest of the year, completed, that kind of stuff. That'd be kind of cool.
Yes. Okay.
That's new on my merch shop very soon.
Right. Please sponsor us, Post-it Notes. Office Hours brought to you by Post-it Notes. All right.
Exactly.
So Nick, we're going to switch over and talk about some of my favorite recipes. And
can you tell me a little bit about rock candy confidence?
Have you ever made rock candy?
No, I never made it.
Oh, it's so fun. You literally take a string and you put it in like sugar water and boil it, and then it like makes rock candy on the string. It's just sugar.
What's it made of?
Sugar. It's literally just crystallized sugar.
I know. I was talking about your recipe.
Oh, my recipe. Okay, I thought you were talking. I thought you like didn't have a reference for what rock candy was, and I was like, okay, sure.
It's
Okay,
pure. It's just pure cane sugar.
yes. So rock candy confidence. We've talked about this a couple times. The difference between being confident and being prideful. And so to me, I think that there's a very thin line, and I tend to err on the side of prideful, but I'm confident in it. So here's my recipe to maybe create some awesome balanced rock candy crystals of confidence and not just a solid block. So 1 cup of
Nice.
worth, some thick skin, and then 2 pounds of skill. Now that's a lot of skill, right? We're looking at 1 cup of worth, and then we're doing 2 full pounds of skill. So here's how we break that
Nice.
down. You need to know your worth. We've talked about this before. Great clients think more highly of you than you do of yourself. I was thinking about kind of the dynamic there, and I was like, I think that if I have a great client, they're willing to pay a worth that I don't think that I'm worth sometimes. Right. And so there is a confidence. I'm like, I need to go in and be confident and say, this is what I'm worth. But even if I don't have that, you have a great client if they know your worth beyond what you do. Next up, stuff. Act like it. You've watched, this is episode number 72 of Office Hours. You've probably watched a few of these if you're here. Stuff. We've taught you stuff. You're knowledgeable in your field. Act like it, right? Don't ever go in and say, oh, I don't know. I kind of just like did whatever. Do you ever have Nick, do you ever have students like pitch stuff like that?
Yes, totally.
And what's your
I
take
stop
on
them
that?
in their tracks.
Yep.
I stop them in their tracks, and I'm like, you don't say I think, you say I know. And especially if
Yes.
they're presenting in something, right? I think I had a boss that told me that. He's like, you say that far too often. I was like, yikes, I'm not being confident. I don't know my worth, all of those things. So I try to tell that with students all the time. Like if even if feels like you're faking it, you're not. You're pushing yourself out of that imposter syndrome right off the bat.
Yeah, and the feeling of faking it, here is something that I've learned in my process, is that a lot of times clients buy confidence over products, right? That yes, you're trying to sell them a product, but if you can sell them that you are confident, a lot of times they won't really worry about that product. They will want you for your confidence, right? Your confidence in your skill,
Yes.
you're confident in the way that you can communicate, you're confident that you can solve their problems, that they're basically buying in on trust, right? We trust them because they are confident, so we are going to pay them for whatever product, right? And so you can sell pretty hard on confidence, which goes into that idea of, the fake it till you make it kind of thing. You don't have to know everything, but if you go in confident about what you do know, a lot of times you can really, really sell it. And yes, Mimi says, stop using the word just. We hold our yes. Just is not a good word.
Or basically.
Yes, basically. Yep.
That's the one that tends to go around a lot.
Yep. I've told people in the past that they'll start a presentation like that and they're like, okay, so I kind of like did this and like, I don't know. And I'll stop them and be like, here's the deal. You don't care about this. And so I don't care about this either. Like, I don't care at all about anything that you said because you obviously don't care about it either. And so you need to come in, and I've told you this before, you need to pitch it like you stole it. That's the phrase that I use. You need to act like...
Make it yours.
Yes, make it yours and act like you have just like carjacked a Shelby and you are driving down the freeway, just like Gone in 60 Seconds style with your pitch.
Exactly.
Trying not to get caught in your tracks. Just keep the momentum going. Next up, for the rock candy, have thick skin. You're not your work. You're not tied to your work. You're not attached to your work. Your worth is not attached to your work. And sometimes that takes thick skin to hear feedback from clients, to hear something that's happening, and still have to go on. It takes a long time to build that thick skin. And the thing that I've realized is that even when you think you have thick skin, it may not be about the thickness. It may be about the coverage. So like there are definitely areas that like I'm like, oh, I have super thick skin.
The ozone layer.
Exactly. I can hear so many things from clients or in conversations, but then something new comes in and I'm like, oh, no one's ever said that about that thing, or like in that way, that I'm like, oh, my thick skin is not broad enough. And so it's very important.
You're hit in another way.
Exactly.
Right?
So
that's
something
a great point.
that you always have to learn. And then at the end, level up those skills. Like I said, it is full 2 pounds of skill in this recipe, and you need to level up those skills, because if you know what you're doing and you know that you're good, own it. And that's where I get into a little bit trouble of that confidence versus cockiness. Is I get into that cockiness, but I'm cocky confident, right? That I'm like, I know exactly what I'm doing. I know how to fix this problem. Let's do it. I'm not going to go in at all shy. I'm going to full on trust my skill and be confident in that. So you have to have those skills to be able to do that, or else it comes off as cocky. But if you want to make the perfect rock candy confidence, that's what you need.
Yeah, you're right. I think I agree with you emphasizing that being the biggest ingredient, because you can, all those other ones are just variables. That third one is the bulk. It's the proof. It's all that. And anytime I have someone say like, oh, I'm not proficient in Illustrator or whatever. Well, guess what? Become proficient in it.
Yes.
Learn that. Learn it inside out. It becomes the biggest skill. And now you sell yourself as easy as possible, because no faking's happening.
Yep. And Adobe Live, literally every single day, there is Illustrator Daily Creative Challenges. There's Photoshop Daily Creative Challenges, XD Creative Challenges. Like, if you want to learn and you want to level up those skills, you can. You just have to put in that effort. And that will help to, really get that rock candy confidence going. All right.
Love it.
So my next recipe is a little complex. So bear with me here. It's the full 3-course dinner. Right? It's a big deal. I think there are like 4 courses here, but we'll pretend like it's 3. So the 3-course dinner, and here's what I like to kind of think of the 3-course dinner. It's appetizer, entree, dessert, right? And for me, this is all about the experience that someone has with me. And yes, sorry, Elizabeth says sometimes Premiere Pro challenges. There are sometimes Premiere Pro challenges as well. So my 3-course dinner is all about the experience that someone has with me, whether that's as a client, as a freelancer, as, doing educational content, whatever it is. I always take them through this 3-course dinner. And the first is personality. And that's where I get to know them. That's where I'm introducing myself. That's where I'm kind of merging into the process. And so it's important for you to find your flow in that as you're going into the process of that personality zone of, how do we meet with the client? How do we talk to the client? How do we introduce ourselves? What do we learn about the client? It's really important to have that as a first step. And it really is that appetizer. And Nick, I know that you do this hardcore with your clients, right?
Yeah.
Your intakes are intense.
Pretty crazy. And when you're going through them all at the same time, it could be a little bit overwhelming as well. You got to stick to it. And the only reason you build this flow is to make sure that there is a seamless way of going through the thing, even when it's a tough time. Having all those assets, having all that collateral, having all that stuff to onboard, do it once and you've got it forever.
Yep, absolutely. And yes, Steven says the real key to confidence is being able to say, I don't know. Yes, there's so many times that I am like the pin person for whatever that decision is. And they're like, hey, how does this work? And I'm supposed to have an answer. Usually I find that it's more respectful to say, I don't know, and just leave it at that. Right? They're like, yeah, I'll find out, but I don't know. Yeah. And I'll find out. Yes, that's great advice. And so next up in my recipe, go ahead.
That's humble pie. That's a little bit of humble pie.
It's a little bit of humble pie. The next entree is the process. And this is important. You need to define your process and you need to run it every single time, right? If it works, it's going to work every time. And you have to constantly refine and kind of hone your process. But if you found a process that works for you, keep using it and make sure that you're using it every single time. And for me, that's the meat of a project. That's me working on it, doing intakes, doing discovery, design, all that stuff is just working the process. And that's the full entree. And then, of course, we have to have
dessert. It never
changes.
Too.
It never changes. Yeah. You have to have dessert. And dessert is always appreciation. And it's always important to go extra and to do offboarding as well as onboarding, right? So send them a gift. Send them a thank you note. I'm going up to a client on Sunday up in Sacramento to go up and visit, just check in, make sure the rebrand's rolling out nicely, take some pictures and stuff, that it's really important to do that extra mile because then they might become repeat clients. I'll give you good recommendations. And it just shows that you really take care of your clients. So I think that's really important.
It's over delivering.
Every time.
Yeah. That's great.
All right, next up, vegetable
Ooh,
medley.
I need this recipe. Talk to
Nick,
me.
I need to tell you something. I, in this episode right now, just found out that you're vegetarian. I don't know how I didn't know that, but
Oh
I've
wow.
just discovered something about
Technically vegan.
technically vegan.
Yeah,
I've
but
discovered something about my co-host to where
yeah,
I've been doing
yeah.
this show for
See?
literally a year and a half. All right, we're
Who
learning
knew?
things today. All right, so here is my recipe for success, and it is the vegetable medley. And this, Nick, you actually mentioned in one of your recipes, and it's about diversification. It's about doing different
Yeah.
things and making sure that you can find success through multiple different ways. And so for me, I've had to break up my vegetable medley. I do a lot of production design for companies, booklets, boring stuff. I'll do branding, which is like the fun, shiny stuff. And then I do educational content like this. So I found that those were my strengths and then created this vegetable medley of success that is just each of these individual pieces.
Yeah.
So,
Love that.
oh, and Golden Rose is saying that you've said that before. Oh no, man! I maybe just don't listen to you. I'm so sorry, Nick.
Oh man,
Vegan
dude.
Nick.
But we're so busy that we're so into the show, guys. It's hard to like, those takeaways sometimes just go.
It's true. We don't listen to each other. All right. Here's something. Here's the thing with the vegetable medley. Here's the takeaway: is diversify your offerings. If you are here and you are just a designer, great. But figure out something else that you can do to diversify your offerings. And here's the thing that I like to do to kind of go down, and this could be homework. There is actual homework coming up, but this could be homework for you to post in Discord, is these 4 questions. What can you do? What should you do? What won't you do? And what will you do? So being able to differentiate between all of those will help you to figure out what goes in your vegetable medley. What different
Yeah.
offerings can you give in your work?
Yeah.
And Nick, you have a lot of different offerings. What would you say are your most like diverse offerings within the entirety of who is Nick Longo?
Ooh, the diverse versions.
Or like what are the
Gosh.
different things that you do that make up Longo Designs?
Yeah, it's really brand centric to food, beverage, and restaurant. I think that's where I'm zeroing in. What I should do, I think I'm feeling pretty confident there. What I won't do is any web development. That's just not a zone I will even tackle. And what will you do? Just about anything but websites and, and apps, I
Not
guess,
web.
at this point. But
Yep.
what I love about that last one is I think that's the fun part, because even today I was talking to onboarding a new client, and I don't think she had any idea that what I do as branding goes into the environment and the design of the inside of the restaurant and everything else. And when I explained that to her, she was like, "That's wonderful. I want to keep it to as little vendors as possible." And I was like, "Okay, note to self, I'm not presenting that as
Oh.
well in my credential."
Yes, Nick,
Right?
you were about to like transition to one of our next recipes perfectly.
Ooh.
But
Uh-oh.
something
Can't
else
wait to see
that's
the
awesome
title.
is you don't have to diversify your offerings if you can diversify your interests as well. Because Nick, right, you have a podcast, you teach, you have different interests. I do a lot of live streaming. I love going to conferences. And so if you can diversify your interests, a lot of times those
That's
will
great.
become offerings, right? Put some spice
Yeah.
in that vegetable medley. That's
Oh, I'm glad you said it that way, because your diversity shouldn't just be in what you do behind the computer. It's everything else too.
Yes.
Right? And you're right. And so find those other things. Even if you are the most incredible hand letter in the world, leave it there. Offer other things.
Yep.
Offer merch. Offer advice. Offer mentorship.
Yep, and that goes into our
idea.
next recipe, which is the secret sauce. The
Oh,
secret sauce.
I love this one.
And this is
Yeah.
one that is individual, but I think it's one of the most important recipes for you to figure out for yourself. And for me, here is the secret sauce of what makes up Hoch. It is unique perspective, uncommon inspirations. I grew up to where I kind of grew up in like the 40s and 50s. And so I grew up on black and white TV and Dean Martin and like just old school stuff, which gives me a unique inspiration for the work that I do.
Right.
And then I think that I've been been gifted with an indomitable joy, as one of my friends said. And I can share that with other people. And so that's part of the secret sauce is I can give that joy to other people, even when I'm not feeling it myself. It's somewhere inside me that I can give it to all of you. And so that has become kind of the secret sauce of me. And your homework for this week is to find out what is your secret sauce. And we want you to post in Discord and list 3 aspects of your personality or workflow that help shape the work that you create. What the shape that you create. What is
correct?
I tried. What is your secret sauce? And I'm sure that Elizabeth is going to screenshot for this and post it in Discord. But we want to make sure that you do go to Discord. And Nick, where can they go to Discord?
It's right there. Discord.gg/ACC.
That's it. So make sure you go to the Discord, and I'm going to pull it up real quick so you can see. You're actually going to put it right over here. Oh, that's not the right button. Hold on. You're going to put it right over here. There we go. In the homework channel, and there it is right there. So post your answers right here in the homework channel. We'll check out those next week on our season finale, and kind of just check in. I think it's a really good exercise to do these, and it is posted there in Discord for you.
Any tips on how to figure out the secret sauce that if they're struggling with it?
I think the secret sauce is something that it becomes more powerful when it becomes more personal. And so it's not something that you're like, oh, I should investigate what works for me and like what I feel like my clients are telling me is successful. I think the secret sauce is really personal to where you're like, these are the things that I feel like make me excited or are unique to me. Because it's that idea of if your perception is your reality, it's your perception of yourself and what makes up your secret sauce. And so I think try to get personal about it.
I know a lot of young designers, particularly when I ask that of students, they almost feel like it's too premature to ask that. And I correct them because I'm like, you're right. There's things that you are personally that you will take into your career and you'll take into whatever jobs that come your way. So sometimes I do ask them, ask your family members, ask your closest friends, ask people around you that what are those things, that might not be so crystal clear what that is to you.
Yep. And transitioning into the next point, Nick, you had said that you just had a client that discovered that you could do more things. What was the kind of process for you of like communicating that and then like selling that?
Well, the minute it was brought up, I knew exactly what to say because you almost like know how to answer it. It was very clear she was trying to narrow this down and not hire 3 people to do these jobs. And maybe she's never gone through this process before. So I held her hand and said, here's what I can do. Let me reassure you that, 1, you are a designer's dream client because she's coming with all this rich story and everything. So I really reinforced the fact that we could take that brand and her story and turn it into all these other things of services in the scope that she did not know. And when I was done, she was like, thank you for explaining that. Now I feel so much more comfortable moving forward with you guys.
Yep.
So it worked.
Yep.
But where I looked at it was, why am I not putting that out there in the first place?
Right. And you can mark it up, get some more money, which goes into our next recipe. And just know that this entire episode, y'all, the only reason that I created slides was that I could use this word is a skosh. I wanted to use skosh so bad.
Skosh.
So we got scope in this one. But this is the Paycheck Layer Cake. And it looks so delicious. But this is 1 cup of perceived value, 3 dollops of budgeting, and then a skosh of spin. And don't ever be afraid of a skosh of spin. I know that spin kind of gets a bad rap, but especially when you're pitching something like this, you kind of have to spin it to get that money.
Oh, I spun.
Nick's out here just.
Not only was my head doing that all day, but I threw some spin in on that. Knowing exactly what to say, and then you get excited because you're like, oh my gosh, I know exactly how to answer this, and some spin threw in there for sure.
So the Paycheck Layer Cake, you need to vary your pricing to create perceived value. So this is doing different layers or different tiers that they can choose from. This should have been like a 3-tier cake. We're going to say that it's a layer cake. They have different tiers to choose from. And so always present projects in tiers. Like literally, here's the lowest level, here's the mid level, and here's the highest level. And what I've been doing lately, which like maybe is not a good idea, but maybe is a good idea, I'm still undecided for myself, is make the top tier something that they're like, they won't go for. Like so absurdly
Pushes
expensive.
them to the middle one better.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Like crazy expensive, way more stuff that they don't need. Um, so that they go to the middle one and then mark up the middle one
Yeah.
to like a little bit of a higher, a little bit bigger scope. And it shows that perceived value of like, oh man, the top one feels so expensive, but like the middle one feels like it is like a good value to me.
And you can also make the bottom one feel too elementary.
Yes. And so if they end up taking the bottom one, that can be a good thing too, because it's, even though you're taking like the lowest level of that layer cake, it is affordable for them, but less work for you. Right. So I know it's always hard when you're like, oh man, they took the lowest one. I'm not going to make any money on this. It's going to be low. It's like, that's great. Make sure that it doesn't take you as much time as you would have spent on the middle one. Right. It's that fair trade-off between the two.
Would you also apply, do you have a minimum for any new project?
Yes. Yes. Minimums
Or
are
new
important.
client, I should
Yes.
say. A new client. Yeah.
Yep.
And I think setting those requirements, so let that be at least the threshold for your lowest one. So how cool would that look if both are pushing to the middle, you've made them feel they're getting all the value and everything they want, but you've maybe upped what your minimum could be.
Yep. Absolutely. Just keep bumping those
Love
up until
that.
someone says no. All right. I think my last recipe question mark
Last one.
is the chef's choice. This is whatever you want it to be is the answer. And I think that this is something that if you are on your own, if you are freelancing, or if you're just trying to take care of yourself in your off time from your full-time job, here are the things that I think are important for a chef's choice, which means that you make your own decisions. 1 cup of goals, just a pinch of relaxation in there, and then 3 pounds of celebration. Tons and tons of celebration. And I think that it's really important that with that chef's choice, you have to be you. Whether you're in-house somewhere doing projects or you're full-time freelance on your own, you have to remember to be you. You have to define goals, give yourself a break, right? And don't just give yourself a break, schedule breaks in. Do you schedule breaks, Nick?
No, I'm getting really good at finding them. They just can't be at the same. They're surprise moments of a break in my day, but I will race out and do that break.
Yes.
I'm getting good at that.
Yes, I try to take a spa trip like once a month and schedule it like on a Sunday afternoon, like the beginning of the month. Yeah. I'm like, this Sunday is chill day, and that's it. And celebrate your victories. That's a big thing. That's 3 pounds in this recipe, is to just celebrate victories. And that's little small ones. It's not always the big ones. Make sure that you're celebrating and kind of celebrating yourself and the things that you've done and the goals that you have accomplished.
Yeah. You're going to need a little trailer to bring in that celebration.
Right?
3 pounds.
3 pounds.
But I love that idea because no one stops, and it's almost like stop and smell the roses for a second. I think celebration means a lot of things. It means celebrate, obviously, be thankful for what happened too, but also it's a bit of that retrospective at some point too, right? Because you're slowing down, you're stopping, better yourself there, figure out how you're going to do it better the next time, you know? Love that.
And that's what we have. Those are recipes for success for all of you. Hopefully you got something good out of today. And I'm just going to throw up a slide and just like hard transition here. Oh, look at this. It's a mysterious link. I wonder where this goes.
Tell us more, Chef Hoch.
Y'all,
what is this?
We have some exciting news. We have some very exciting news. And Nick, I'm trying to think of how we want to do this. All right, let's cut to our holding screen, and I'm just going to do full intro. Here we go. Let's cut to this holding screen. All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, this year at Adobe Max, Office Hours is taking over. Oh, yeah, that's right. Office Hours is literally taking over Adobe Max for you and for all of the people that are hanging out in our Adobe creative career. Nick, do you want to tell a little bit about the Max experience as well as kind of start to go through the schedule that is happening for Max because we have so much stuff?
You know, both Andrew and I have been many times to Adobe Max, and even with it being virtual, I think you need a little aid, an assistant, a guide. You need folks to help you along the way. So what we're going to do is we're going to be there all week long, starting on Monday, October 25th. What we're doing is we're going to have a Max challenge that morning, and that'll be on Behance. And then it moves to a 3 p.m. show all about a Max preview. And we want to just give you insights and things to start looking for, tips and tricks to kind of how to pick the right stuff. Are you introducing yourself to folks? Are you meeting people in the same rooms and all that kind of stuff? So we're going to go through that, and then that leads us to Tuesday. What are we doing then?
Yeah, so Tuesday, we're going to be doing something every single day of Adobe Max right before content starts on Behance, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Max Your Max. It's going to be all about what's coming up that day, what you need to tune in for, the coolest stuff that we're excited about, and a little preview. And then at the end of the day, we'll hop over and hang out in Discord just like we do for this show, and we'll do a Max recap. Anything that you missed that day, we'll just go up and we'll have it there in Discord. I believe we'll be putting that on YouTube for you as well to take a listen to if you miss that day. Then into Wednesday,
Excellent.
which has probably, like, this is my favorite thing that possibly we will ever do with office hours. Nick, what's happening on Wednesday?
I know, man. This is going to be great. Again, it starts off with another Max Your Max at 8 a.m. that morning on Behance. But then we're doing something so cool because it is probably the funnest part of Max for me, and that's the sneaks. And we're going to do a live commentary as it's happening on the site. We'll be in Discord talking about all the cool stuff that Paul and I believe Keenan Thompson, we'll be doing as well. So we'll be able to do the commentary on them, and they won't hear us, so we can say whatever we want.
Yes.
And then it will end with another Discord daily recap at 5 p.m. What's next on Thursday?
Yeah, so on Thursday, we'll be doing Max Your Max at the beginning of the day. And then Friday, we will be doing our office hours special. And we don't have a Max recap on Thursday because Friday is going to be an entire Max recap. And someone is asking, thank you so much for this transition as we go into it, as we have 9 minutes left. Have you created a calendar schedule that we can add to our calendars? Oh boy, have I. So bit.ly/ohcal. I'm going to put this up real quick and you guys can screenshot it. So get that screenshot right there.
There you go.
And then if you subscribe to that bit.ly/ohcal, which I think that Wade is going to put up in chat. Wade, thank you. Or any moderator can post it. This is the link right there, bit.ohcal. It is going to take you to this. And this is the week of Max, and we have a ton of content on here mapped out where it is, what time it is. And Nick, we have some other things that are happening that we didn't talk about on the schedule. What's happening during the day at Max in our Discord?
The interviews, correct?
Yes. So we are doing interviews pretty much every day just for you, just for the creative career peeps. On Monday, we have like probably one of my design heroes, freaking David Carson, is going to be hanging out with us on Discord. And then on Wednesday, we're hanging out with Rick Oostenbrick, as well as the Corridor Digital crew, which I'm so excited. They're like my favorite YouTubers. And so we're going to hang out, do an interview with them in Discord. And then Thursday, Amos Kennedy will be on, and we're still adding guests to this, hanging out in Discord. And again, it'll be happening right here in the Adobe Creative Careers Discord. And Nick, we have a special opportunity for one person on Monday with David Carson. What is that special opportunity?
The opportunity is that you might be, I think I do, but I also do know maybe something you don't know.
Oh, go. Do it.
We're reaching out to students to see if one of them would like to do the interview.
Yes. So if you go over here in the Creative Career Discord, right underneath General, there is a Max Interviews. And we will be posting and asking for your advice. If you guys want to interview David Carson, a design legend, you can apply right here, put in some reasons of why you'd want to do that. And we may have some additional guests that we'll bring you in to ask some questions to, and we'll be doing live Q&A all week with all of those people. So again, there is so much content this week for you. And Nick and I are
then there's Adobe Max.
Oh yeah, then there's
all the little show you can fill in the blanks with.
Yeah,
that, in between our show.
Yeah,
that would be great.
Yeah, this thing called Adobe Max. So you can check out all of those, and then we'll actually be going into the 29th. Will probably also be our Halloween Spooktacular. So we're going to be doing the Max Recap Spooktacular, and it's going to be a whole lot. And looking forward into the future for the show. Actually, hold on, let's do this first. Nick, something very special is happening in a week, 2 weeks on social media. What is happening on social media that's very special for office hours?
we are going to be taking over the Gen Create Instagram feed.
Full takeover, baby.
Woo! Talk about an audience.
Yeah, so
Like,
we will be
I'm a little
doing
nervous.
an
Yeah.
office hours takeover on Adobe Gen Create. So make sure that you go and follow. It's just Instagram.com/Adobe Gen Create. Go give a follow, and we'll be doing a full takeover for Max, and that will help you get ready for Max. We'll be notifying you when things are starting, what time shows are. There'll be a quiz that will be super fun. We'll be asking for your feedback of what you learned. So go follow Adobe Gen Create. You'll see Nick and I, we record like 90 promos, so our faces will be all up on that feed, and we'll have a great time hanging out together, especially with, the regulars that we see here. We'd love for you guys to go interact and help spread the word about office hours doing the takeover for Adobe Max.
That's gonna be great. What do you like looking forward to the most out of that week?
I think sneaks. Like, sneaks is always the thing that, like, even if it doesn't become a thing or it doesn't go anywhere, I'm like, who cares? Like, they could literally make something up and show it to me, and I'd be like, yeah! Like, sneaks is always so mind-blowing. And I just love sitting there and, hanging out at sneaks. And I think the Discord is going to be really fun.
I'm excited, too. Like, I love the first morning and second morning keynotes. I think the first morning keynote is such a good thing because if anything's announced, it's typically going to be in your hands later that day. Like, what's next in the apps that we currently have. Then you get sneaks, and it's like looking way ahead and going, in a year from now, this could be making its way in there. So I like the stuff that, like, I can instantly kind of start messing around with and playing, and it's all cool stuff that basically makes your life easier when it comes to doing work on all these apps we use.
Yep, absolutely. And there's a couple things. Hope you're going to alter the avatar with OH branding in some way. I don't know if they'll let us do that, but like maybe. We'll ask.
Yeah.
Why not?
We could try.
So a couple more things that we want to talk to you about of stuff that's coming up in the future. Again, we tried to get through the entire lecture on the front end because we have so many announcements today because it is a time of change for office hours. And the next thing I want to talk about is next week. And Nick, unfortunately, what's next week? It's a little bit of a sad, little bittersweet day. What's happening next week?
I can't call it, it's not last day of school. It's just last day of back to school.
Yes.
So it is our ending of this semester, but we go out in style every time.
We go out in style every time. And so next week we will be having a super fun game show. We'll be doing a pop quiz for you for our season finale of Back to School. You could join in our Discord. I forgot what this season was.
Look at where's the template? What's the title of this?
What's the title of this one? So you can join in Discord, and we are going to be doing a ton of voice chat stuff. So we're going to be pushing you over to Discord a lot. We'll be bringing you live on the show to answer questions. We'll have special prizes. I think that we will have office hours swag that we can give away by then, or at least give you a link to get some in the near future. So make sure that you come back next week and make sure you're signed up for the Discord. It's so important to get in there. And then the week after that is everything that we just talked about, which was Adobe Max, right?
Great little segue in between.
Yes.
Right?
So
Perfect
we've got
week.
got a nice little segue. We got a nice little, we used to call them one-offs. Nice little one-off episode for Adobe Max. And then, Nick, at the beginning of November, we are starting our season that's going to end the year. And what is our theme for the next season? Let's just talk about it now.
Let's do it. It's called Off the Record, and basically what it is we're going to try to use as many of our friends and our designer friends as possible to come in. But what we want to do is debunk a lot of the design dilemmas and hurdles and things and show you that what you might think is a problem, we're going to crash right through it and show you really great solutions on how to kind of just gain some momentum and bust through some of this stuff.
And we're also going to be taking on myths that you may have heard, whether you're in design school or it's kind of existed in the design sphere, right? And something like you shouldn't use more than 2 typefaces on a composition. Bethany Heck is an amazing designer who uses up to 6, 7 typefaces sometimes and makes them all balanced. Yeah. And so we're going to be taking those kind of misconceptions and myths about design and showing you how you can break them. So you'll be learning the rules and then learning how to break the rules, which is going to be super fun. And we're calling it Off the Record because these are not things you're supposed to do. We gotta keep it hush hush, because we're going to be showing you how to break those rules.
Exactly. You can't talk about these things in big, open arenas. It has to be right here in our little world,
Secretly in office hours. So just as a reminder, you do have homework this week. We've kind of been on and off about homework, but you do have homework this week in Discord. Fill out these things. What can you do? Figure out how to diversify your offerings, and then also figure out what is your secret sauce. I want you to post those in Discord. We'll highlight those next week for the game show. Next week's going to be super fun. We're going to hang out, have a good time, and kind of chill. So make sure that you do your homework over in Discord. And Colby says, show me why Comic Sans matters. Nick, do you know why Comic Sans matters? Do you know the answer to this?
Ooh, I do not.
Why do you use it? Okay, so it's like, right?
Why do you use it, or why was it made?
Why would you use Comic Sans?
As a joke?
Comic Sans is really, really accessible for people that are dyslexic. It's really easy to read, right?
It does have some meaning.
It does have a use, yeah. So that's a little preview of Off the Record. Sometimes you need to use Comic Sans. Also, I was not mad about Papyrus.
Episode 1.
Yeah, I was not mad about Papyrus in Avatar. I thought it worked great.
We should call it Outlawed Fonts back again.
Yes. All right. With that, I'm going to leave you all on the Adobe Max screen. Make sure that you screenshot the schedule, and we will see you next week for our season finale of Adobe Office Hours Back to School. Thanks so much for joining us. It's been a great season, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye, guys.